Hi, my name's Julian and I'm here with my group today to talk to you about ParaSport organizations in Canada. Now, what is ParaSport? ParaSport is a parallel sport specifically designed for athletes with disabilities. Now, these disabilities can vary anywhere from physical, mental, intellectual, or even sensory impairments that affect your senses such as loss of hearing, sight, or even spatial awareness. Now, ParaSport is the parallel to sport for able-bodied athletes, and it has things such as adapted equipment like wheelchairs, sledges, or even prosthetics, or they even adapt rules to make the games fun and accessible for everyone. Now, there are some able-bodied sports that do not have parallels, but likewise, there's some parallel sports that actually don't have able-body equivalents. Now, in Canada, there are many sport organizations, but unfortunately, there are very few para-sport-specific organizations. In fact, several sport organizations govern both the able-bodied and their parallel counterpart. Now, some of the parasport-specific organizations in Canada are the likes of ParaSport Ontario. Now, their primary focus is they focus on providing support for members of the disability community across all of Ontario, regardless of the age or stage of life that they're in. Now, some of the things they offer are methods to find, connect with, and even participate in both competitive and recreational sport programs and activities. Now, their intention is to ensure that there's equal sport opportunity and an active lifestyle opportunity for everybody in Ontario. Another main parasport organization in Canada is the Canadian Paralympic Committee, and they're a non-for-profit organization that represents Canadian Paralympic athletes in all major international tournaments, such as the Paralympics, Pan American Games, and the Special Olympic Games as well. Now, ultimately, ParaSport Ontario and the Canadian Paralympic Committee are the two major governing bodies for parasport in the province of Ontario and Canada. Now, why is parasport important to us? Simply, roughly 15% of Canadians are considered to have disabilities. That means there's a major portion of our population that can participate in these parasports. And every year, more people suffer injuries or simply are born with disabilities. And this means the disabled community in Canada is constantly growing. This means that the number of participants in parasports is also increasing. Now, with the increase of participation in parasports in Canada, this means there will be a much higher need for opportunities within professional sport and parasport. This means there will be a need for development in all aspects of parasport, such as facilities or even the long-term development methods, and many more. Although the disabled athlete community in Canada is extremely large, the parasport industry is widely untapped and does not get the viewership or the participation rates that they truly deserve. This suggests that there's a high target market potential and there's many opportunities to improve the parasport industry in Canada. And partnering with companies like BioSteel or other sports-orientated companies can be beneficial, and ultimately they hope to increase the overall participation in parasport as a whole. And as future sport leaders, this is essential to the growth of not only parasport in Canada, but all sports in Canada. Overall, parasport within Canada has come a long way over the last 60 years, but there's still quite a few problems which need to be addressed, and current parasport organizations need to, but also with the introduction of other parasport organizations, maybe parasport can finally reach the potential it truly deserves. Thanks for your time. Now I'm going to pass you over to my other group members. Cheers.
Hi, my name is Marcus, and today I'm going to be talking about opportunities in parasport. The first opportunity that you can experience in parasport would be work opportunities. There are plenty of opportunities to volunteer or internship opportunities are available in the parasport field, as well as possible employment opportunities such as coaching. The second opportunity in parasport would be the learning opportunities. The opportunity to learn new rules to sports is something that you can't do in regular sport. And the last opportunity in sport would obviously be the experience to see athletes who have disabilities competing at a very high level, which is something very special and something that we should incorporate within our program in the future. Next, I'll be talking about barriers to participation in parasport. The first barrier would be lack of early experiences in parasport for youth. The second barrier would be limited participation, training, and competition. Without all of these things, there would be no opportunity for ParaSport to grow in the field. The third barrier would be lack of accessible facilities for ParaSport athletes. Without the proper accessible facilities to run these programs, there would be no opportunity to grow within this field as well. Fourth barrier would be limited accessible transportation. It is very hard to organize transportation for ParaSport athletes since they do have disabilities, and it is hard to get them from one place to another. The fifth barrier is access to information. Because of the lack of information that is offered to ParaSport athletes, it's harder for them to find programs to enroll in or even participate. The Ontario Blind Sport Association is an organization that provides athletes who are blind/impaired vision with opportunities to participate in sport.
Hi, my name is Armaan Randev, and I will present to you the future headlines. Firstly, due to the ever-growing popularity and growth of parasports, we can predict increasing financial contributions from Sports Canada and the Canadian Paralympic Committee to the Paralympic Sports Development Fund for the 2019 and the 2020 calendar year. Secondly, the Ontario Parasport Games will be held by the region of Durham in 2019. Third, according to the International Paralympic Committee, the VISTA Conference, which is a conference held for scientists and experts in the parasports, will be held in Amsterdam. Fourth, London has confirmed a bid for the 2019 World Paralympic Athletic Championships, which is an upcoming Paralympic track and field event organized by the World Para Athletics subcommittee of the International Paralympic Committee. Fifth, the 2019 Special Olympics World Summer Games will be held in March in Abu Dhabi and will be the first Special Olympics held in the Middle East. Sixth, Sarawak in Malaysia is going to host the World Para Swimming Championships in 2019, and we'll see some of the world's best para swimmers involved, as the World Para Swimming Championships will also act as the qualifying event for the 16th Summer Paralympic Games, which will be held in Japan in 2020. For topic resources, we can look into a few things. First, PSO, or a provincial sport organization website, such as Ontario Wheelchair Sports Association or Ontario Blind Sport Association. And the second option is that we can look into a national sport organization or an NSO website. In this case, it would be the Canadian Paralympic Committee.
My mother, after I broke my back, she told me, you need to remember that it happened to you for a reason.
The doctor said, no, now the wheelchair is your life.
In my mind, I was put on this earth to play hockey. It's all I've wanted to do since I came out of the womb.
I think the most thing I love about sport is getting to be the best version of myself.
If you're fearless, you'll crash anyway.
Without sport in my life, I do not know where I am.
Every day bad things happen to everybody on this earth, and it's how you take these negatives and move on. And I don't think there's a better example out there than the Paralympics.
This is the best life I can have, I think.
I want to be the best in the world, but I also want to do that for others. I want to show what people with disabilities are capable of.
No disability or impairment should stop you doing what you want.
We are disabled athletes, but we can do the same thing than the able athletes.
I've met the best people in my life through Paralympic sport.